All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Go4SC2 monthly final for December of 2014, as we now have our grand final on the way. And in fact, let me just press F5 and we can look at the brackets. There we go. And I can show you exactly what's happened today. We've actually followed Hydra throughout the entirety of this bracket, as he was able to defeat Nurcio in that first round of 16 match, a match that I expected to be the grand final of this, but that's how the brackets turned out. That's how the seeding turned out. From then on, we had Hydra going to Straylock, and then obviously beating Showtime just before. He now finds himself in the grand finals going up against Verdi, and Verdi has apparently changed his name. He is now Rail. I might ask him in the chat in just a little bit why he's called Rail. Don't quite know. But the winner takes away 300 euros. The second place finisher takes away 150 euros. So it's one more to go. But it is a best of 5. Overgrowth will be our first map between these two. Hydra has the potential of bringing out crazy amounts of builds across the board here against Protoss, but obviously relying a lot on that Roach Hydra composition with Colossi depending on how early he sees Corruptors depending on how early he sees Colossi, or Vipers if he needs them. So good luck to these players as we get good to go into Overgrowth. Hydra and Rail looking good to go. We've actually seen on the other side of the bracket, Verdi do pretty well for himself, actually going through Targa in the previous series in the semi-finals. Targa and Showtime actually walked away with 75 euros for getting 3rd and 4th place. But in the end, we've actually seen a lot of Verdi in previous Go4SC2 Cups, as well as monthly finals, a few of which I believe he has actually won. So he's certainly no slouch when it comes to Go4SC2s, as he is ready to go as well. So Overgrowth is going to be our first map in this best of 5. I'm hoping we see a wide variety of maybe the newer maps as well during this best of 5. And it's been a lot of fun casting, actually, today. This is my first StarCraft 2 cast of 2015. Not my first cast of 2015, as I've actually done a Guild Wars 2 cast just before, but had a nice break over Christmas. Didn't see any of my family because they were all ill, which is a bit rubbish, but whatever. I played a lot of video games. And now refreshed, good to go 2015. Going to hit that with a bang. Let's get into game number 1 as we have our best of 5 grand final on the way. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our red Zerg once again for the 4th time here in series after series after series. It is Root Hydra. As I say, I was very keen to follow him through this bracket because he will be attending the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei coming up next week, and it will be a lot of fun. So really wanted to see how he was playing in these matchups to get good information going into the next tournament. And then obviously down to the bottom left-hand corner we have our blue Protoss, in fact. I was about to say Zerg. It is Verdi, a guy who has changed team quite a lot, has changed name quite a lot, but that doesn't stop him being a total boss of Protoss. Oh yeah. Alright, okay. I'll stop with the random rhyming weirdness. As for now, we'll see if he's going to be able to stack up against Hydra. 1 second. Okay, we're good to go. So, what do we have? We have Gateway on the way for Verdi. So, pretty standard little opener from him here. He's actually been very, very keen on going for Gateway openers in the past and actually throwing down a pylon, his second pylon, at the bottom of this ramp. So, it's not exactly the greediest of openers here. There is builds where you go Gateway and then wait around for your Nexus and then go for that before the pylon, etc. But not super greedy from him. Hydra, meanwhile, though, just going for hatchery first, and he's going to be able to get away with it. He will be a little bit apprehensive about this probe poking out at the front because he won't be able to get up to with the Overlord to really see exactly what's going on just yet. But behind this, he's got his spawning pool as well as his gas. So Hydra not reacting to the probe just yet. Doesn't really need to. And the probe gets in there and sees the spawning pool as well as the gas being taken. So, double gas has been taken behind this for Verdi. And that's really early double gas. What are you up to, Verdi? So 2 in each. So not exactly the super straight, I need lots and lots of gas play. But it is a little bit more out of the norm. So he's going to be banking up a lot of gas before getting that Nexus down, which I'm going to say would go with a Stargate option here from Verdi. As he's got his Cybernetics Core on the way, walling this off as if he's playing against a Terran. Because why on earth not? And speed is going to be the option here for Hydra. Just leave one guy in gas there to eventually propel himself forwards to get something going. At least the Overlord actually sees the lateness of the Nexus as this wall is on the way. But a very keen gas opener for sure here for Verdi. Really wondering what he's going to do with it. Of course, he can have a lot of sentries to his name. 8 lings. 10 lings. What the? 12 lings. What the? What? Well, he's really going to need to wall this off very quickly. If he actually got that probe at the front, he's going to start working on the pylon. What are you going to do? There's so many lings. At least he gets the wall off, but as long as he micros this, it's up to that sentry really to do a lot. Oh, Mothership Core's out, so he's okay. Should be fine. But Hydra already putting on quite a bit of pressure and making sure that the wall off is not going to be fully broken. Good stuff by Verdi in defensive manner. And even the cannon going down for safe measure. Because that's quite a lot of lings, to be fair. You don't often see this many lings as a Protoss at the front of your base at this particular time. Which is why I was a little bit confused as to why Hydra's making these. Because really, what are these accomplishing right now? Yeah, they got a pylon. But that was a lot of lings that could have been drones. And, I mean, maybe he forced out a cannon. And actually, I think that's a bit of a full... He needs to kind of maybe cancel that gateway. This is a bit of a wonky wall now, because units like Stalkers especially can't get through there. So, he's going to have to kill that pylon at the front. That's going to be his kill. But anyway, for now, Stargate is going to be the option, as we were mentioning before, because of how much gas he had coming in earlier on. Of course, the Sentry did help and alleviate the idea of those Zerglings really doing anything at all at the front. But Hydra behind this, 3rd base on the way, drones on the way, gas is on the way, mate, and layer on the way. So no extra 4th gas guys are going down, so it's not going to be anything crazy like some kind of weird Mutalisk play, especially against... this Stargate that we're seeing already. And again, Hydra has to be anticipating something a little bit tech-heavy because of the timing of the Nexus and how much gas was really coming in across those 2 gas guys as early on. Don't know if he had full intel on that, but, I mean, if the Nexus was a little bit later than you're anticipating here behind the Cybernetics Core, then you can imagine. You can imagine. So it's going to be Oracle, actually, and... Verdi, I'm wondering if he's going to go for a 2 base plays, because this probe is still stuck around, and that's a lot of gateways. So that's 6 gateways across this 2 base. +1 weapons was coming out quite quickly, and this 4th gas hasn't been used at all just yet. There we go, goes into it. There's still a lot of gateways, guys. Still a lot of gateways. Roach Warren as well as Hydralisk Den being added on to go into Hydra's overall normal mid-game composition, which he does love. And Oracle, yeah. Okay, so he's going to get a few drones for his troubles, but because there are 2 queens here, nowhere near as much as we saw Showtime get in that previous game, only gets the 3. And actually not even any commitment to Spore Crawlers, despite the Oracle actually being there. So he's just leaving 1 queen in each mineral line. Feeling okay and dandy with that. 3rd base is on the way here for Mr. Verdi. And I was anticipating maybe a 2 base push. I'm not sure what I was anticipating with that 2 base push, because the idea of 6 gateways and a Stargate really doesn't lean towards anything unless it was just Void Rays and Gateway units. But that against Roach Hydra is not going to fare too well unless the sentries are really on point with their force fields. So 3rd base is on the way. Extra 2 gateways. Ooh, he could... He's still got probes in production though, god damn it. Whatever. Alright. I was saying he could go for some kind of bigger, like, maybe fake out the idea of this Nexus and push across. But he's still got probes on the way, so it doesn't really line up too well. All in all, these 3 extra gateways, they haven't really done too much in terms of establishing this base, so the Nexus could have been a little bit earlier, if you want to think of it like that. But also, he has noticed the fact that this gold base is down. So whether he pushes out towards it and forces unit production would be nice, but there's already unit production on the way. There's a lot of Hydralisks there. The 2 Oracles could provide some support fire, but not much. So he's got to be careful about how he orchestrates this. He's got to be careful about how he moves up that ramp, that's for sure. The Hydras are going to break down those rocks, and then when they all have done, that's going to be a very, very strong army against this. If the Hydras for some reason didn't deal with the Oracles whilst they were fighting, then they could do a lot of damage to them because Hydralisks are light, and actually Oracles kill them pretty fast if the Hydras aren't focusing them down. But Verdi's got to make something happen here. I really think he has to. With a gold base down, with Roaches and Hydras gathering a lot of speed here in this, and this army not having any AoE to combat it later on, I think he's got to do something. He's going to try. There's the Guardian Shield. There's the Time Warp. Any extra Time Warp would mean he wouldn't have any energy for a recall. Force Fields are not too bad, actually. Seals a lot of those Hydralisks off on the left-hand side. A lot of them dancing, really not doing too much. The Void Ray will end up being brought down, as did the Oracles, wherever they may be now. And he loses a lot of his Gateway army for this. I really don't think that this was the best of options. He'll eventually vanquish, but the reinforcing Hydras and Roaches, I think, should be able to shut this down, especially if they have support of Queens. Not if they're all going to go in disjointed like that, though. But now he is on top of this army. The Stalker's still faring pretty well. But the Roaches with the Hydras should be able to push this back eventually. So, still more reinforcements on the way. Hydras coming from the left-hand side. Extra Hydras and Roaches on the right. And there's just not enough firepower. GG. Hydra takes game number 1. And for me, the way in which Verdi played out that game didn't really line up too well. Normally when you hear me casting, I'm like hyper and crazy and all over the place. But in that one, not so much. I wasn't feeling it, you know? So it was a little bit weird. And in the end, Hydra just played out his normal mid-game, which was just Roach and Hydra, with the gold base on the way as well. It really put a timer on Verdi. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, and your opponent takes a gold base and then holds on to that, you've got to do something. Otherwise, you just got nothing. He didn't have any transition from there. He didn't have a Robo facility to transition onto a Robo Bay. He didn't have Twilight Council. You saw he was only at 1-1 upgrades, so yeah, didn't have the Twilight Council all to then transition onto Templar Archives. So a tough game number 1 there for Verdi, as Hydra does take the first map. The second map is going to be Secret Spring. So again, we already saw this map against Showtime. Recall how that went. Recall how it played out. In the later stages of the game, there's a lot of dancing around because there's only those 3 major choke points to really lead from one side of the map to the other. And unless you're keeping tabs on, especially the north and the south one, the middle one is a bit easier to keep tabs on because it's on direct route towards your opponent. North and south one, very important, but harder to keep tabs on. Unless you're keeping those tabs, you may get caught off guard, which is what we saw Hydra, what happened to Hydra many, many times, but he was still able to rally back and win it after Showtime. It looked as if he had a little bit of minor frustration against seeing those Swarm hosts being able to hold on to that 3rd, 4th base down to the bottom right. So, anyway, we're just waiting now for Hydra to get into game number 2. Here on Secret Springs. Again, a big thank you for joining me here at ESL TV. Not often I get to solo cast, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to rest up my throat tonight and make sure I'm not battering it completely, because it does tire you out. It does tire you out. But still, Hydra for some reason not joining this game. Oh well. So let's quickly check the Twitterverse, see if everything's going okay. Looks like everything is okay. Are you in lobby? I'm not getting an invite. That's a tweet I got. Sorry, I don't know. Are you in the lobby? I shall suggest you to the game. I see you. Haha! The Twitterverse succeeded. Great job. Well, I suggested him. That's the wrong person. How on earth did that happen? I suggested him, but he didn't get to join. Oh well, good to go. As Hydra's one game up in this final. Again, as I said before, the winner takes away 300 euros, which is good stuff, good money. Okay, Secret Springs is our game number 2. I do apologize for the gentleman. I did suggest you. You tweeted me, and I did suggest you. But these meanies didn't invite you, so I'm sorry about that. So, Secret Spring is going to be our second map. Hydra looked good on it eventually after stabilizing after quite a while. So let's see if he's able to do it again. Do it again. Verdi, I would like a more streamlined build or a more normal build because I didn't see how that was going to work out too well. I guess he was relying on the idea of the oracles doing a lot more damage than they did. But anyway, let's get into game number 2 as Hydra's currently 1 game up. Spawning on the right-hand side, it's Verdi. He's our red Protoss. Not quite sure what this is. I assume it's Get Rich without the T. Whatever. And then... Oh, that's his clan tag. There you go. Get Rich. I assume it's Get Rich. And on the left-hand side, of course, it is Hydra, our blue Zerg, who... Still in Team Root. So, yeah. Great. Okay. Game 2, Grand Finals. So, Hydra, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Sending out a drone scout really early. He could do something crazy. Let's do something crazy. Let's do something crazy, Hydra. I'd love it. The thing is he's going to get in there. He may scout around and then see a gateway opener from him. And then from there on out, he could do something a bit crazy. But we'll see if he's going to be able to do much of anything. Oh, he's being sneaky. Oh, he's being sneaky. He's going to do something. Oh. All right, let's just cherish this moment. As the hatchery goes down. So let's see what he's going to do with this. Is it going to be lings? Is it going to be roaches? One thing's for sure, if Verdi goes for a similar build to what he did last time, and yes, he will do, then he's not even going to check up there for a very, very long time. And this is really, really going to hurt him. But the thing is that Verdi... Okay, drones. Is this going to throw him? Is this going to throw him? Because the thing is that if he sees hatchery first here, because obviously there's no spawning pool, so he's like, oh, okay, it must be a hatchery first, cool. He's going to go up there, and he's going to see a hatchery, but it's kind of late. It's kind of late. So does he then go, uh-oh, well, okay, now he sees it. Okay, so, what are you going to do, Verdi? We've got Zealot on the way. And that's going to have to hold on pretty strong against this. Spawning pool is on the way as well. The thing is that hatchery is actually quite far away from where he's really wanting to take engagements. He doesn't want to go too far, because there can be queen and lings on the way pretty soon once that spawning pool is finished up. Actually, he's leaving that start doing as well. Probe is on the way back. And the Mothership Core is really going to try and be the MVP here. If a queen got out and threw down a creep tumor, then you may as well kiss this game goodbye. Because taking a natural over here is not going to work out. No queen has started producing here, so that is not Hydra's game plan. He just wants lings to try and get on top of that Zealot. And I think in the end that, yeah, he's delaying. If you look at the opportunity cost on the minerals here for Verdi, he actually had to throw into 2 gateways before throwing down the thingamajig, the Nexus, that's the one. And actually the lings were able to get a Stalker, so that's nice. A few more lings on the way, trying to get maybe some probes here. Getting tasered though. And behind this is drones, drones, drones. as this base has been established over on the left. So, yeah. Queen's also being added on. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he could have started a queen here and got a creep tumor down. I think he could have, considering the time that the Lings bought during all of that. It would have been cool to see the attempt, but in the end, it's not to be. So, still a cool opener here from Hydra in game number 2. As I say, he's one game up. He's making a few Lings as well, actually. Is he actually going to... Are you actually going to take the natural there? Oh. Because this still isn't dead. He has to take an expansion somewhere. Oh, God. Secret Springs. Secret Springs. All right. So there's going to be a lot of Lings heading over in that direction if he wants to go there. And he could actually get the deny. If he got a deny on that base. If he got a deny. Please, Lings, go. Please. Hydra. Hydra, that would be so sexy. Is he actually going to just... Okay, he's checking for proxies everywhere. I would still love it if he went over there and tried to get the deny. If he'd been really on his toes. Because the idea of denying an expansion back here is so fantastic to then just go and deny this with your super mobile units. But anyway, a Ling runs on forwards, and where are these guys going? Geez, you don't want to be getting tickled away at for too long. Forge is on the way as well. So there will be a cannon eventually down here as there is a probe. So Verdi is looking to stabilize. Oh, I would have loved the idea of those Lings just going and poking this down, but there you go. He now sees the third natural, even I should say, on the way. And Verdi's economy is not looking too brilliant, but neither really was Hydra's up until the point where he had just a few extra drones pop out there. He is getting the lair, and he's getting burrow as well. So I'm wondering what he's going to do with this burrow. He could go for burrow movement across these two bases as well. He's going to get roach speed. And no sign of a third base just yet for him. Ah, okay, breaking down these rocks. So there is a much longer game plan involved here for Hydra. As the sentries do move out, and actually could catch some of these Lings. Oh, well, they actually helped them, and that was just gross. Well, I guess that's one way of doing it. Hallucinate Phoenix moves on in and looks around. Didn't actually see the Roach Warren whirring away, so he's still a little bit in the dark as to what tech is really going on. Saw the layer, didn't see anything of a third base because he didn't even send the Hallucinate Phoenix over there. And this Hallucinate Phoenix has a little bit more room to make up. Sees the roaches now, which is nice. But would ideally... I'm wondering how much damage he could really do at all. I mean, he could go up with these roaches and break down these rocks and then eventually open up this path. Because... oh, Hydra, I love you. This base is still being denied. Even if it's something as simple as an Overlord now throwing down the creep on it. But Robot Facility is on the way here for Verdi. And +1's about to finish up as well. Still more drones, though, over towards that third base. And the roaches... Actually, where are you going? I mean, you wanted to break down those rocks. So... Hydra Stem's going to go down as well. So Hydra is trying to play out just his normal standard go-to game from here on out. And actually chrono boosting into Immortals. I think he's anticipating a big roach push coming along, but it doesn't have to be the plan from Hydra here because he has 61 drones and is going to drone up even more towards this. The Hallucinate Phoenix doesn't see much more than what he already has done. And these roaches do not want to march to their deaths. There's not really too much point of doing that. Overlord dying with Valor as it denied that base for quite a while. And there is detection there thanks to that cannon. So, yeah, a bit sad there for them. Oh, these roaches actually going down here. Could be kind of cool. But there is still a lot of potential there to be able to deny that. Get that sentry would be lovely. Ooh! Good reaction time there, though, by Verdi. Even catches a few of those roaches in. So, not too bad at all. With 12 Hydras now on the way behind this for him. So, the way this map works out, I think the Warp Prism is a great choice. Because, again, everything's so, like, blocked off with rocks. Where are you, rocks? There you are. And rocks over here. The only path right now is up here. And if he was paying attention to the other rock locations, he would know that they haven't been broken down just yet. It's really Hydra keeping an eye on the rocks and seeing whether or not they're going to be broken down for any kind of push out. But he sees the push out to the north. It's 2 Immortals actually with this. Is he really going for a... It's like a pseudo Immortal all-in with an expansion behind it, so he's just kind of faking it out. But he's only on 49 workers and hasn't produced extra. So he could actually try and go for this, but that's so much creep to move across and clear, and then eventually take a good engagement. He has to be slow across this, because this force could threaten to engage, but it's just going to march anyway. That's a lot of Hydras to go up against this. And 11 Roaches extra going to pop in a second. I don't know if he can do this. Is he going to load up, and what is he going to do here? This is an interesting angle that he's trying to take. The Hydras are ready, just in case any craziness goes on. But as you can see, Verdi is a little bit apprehensive about even moving any further on the creep, never mind anywhere else. He does... Oh no, that's Changeling. I thought it was the Observer over there with it, but nope. It's just the Changeling. Gets obliterated. Alright, so... Still a bit difficult really to do much here. Double time warp goes down, but in the end, they really didn't pay for themselves those time warps, and that's a lot of energy missing on that Mothership core, so nowhere near going to be as useful when this engagement comes along. And also, Hydra is buying a lot of time to eventually take an engagement in this really open area where you can set up a very nice concave against this kind of army that wants to be kind of in tight and packed areas. So I feel that Verdi's just going to have to go home. I don't think there's any more room for him to do anything here, especially considering Hive is already finished. Vipers are almost about to be done, so if those 2 Immortals... If he goes any further forwards and those 2 Immortals get dragged out of position by those Vipers, then whatever. This game is done. Verdi's having no luck at all in this series right now. As Hydra, he's bought so much time before this engagement goes down that he's almost got +2 missile attacks. To be fair, okay, that's not the best location to be engaging in again as well. And he actually pushes up right against this, negating any kind of force fields in that middle area. A lot of those Hydras, yes, are dancing on the back, but there's the blinding clouds to stop a lot of those. The 2 Immortals were right under that blinding cloud, and it makes it very difficult for Verdi to do really anything with it. There's 30 more Hydralists on the way, though. Maybe he should have brought those 2 Immortals forwards with this, with some pulls to try and kill those off very quickly, but... He plows through with like a steamroller. Oh my god. Well, he certainly had a lot of income to be actually able to fuel a lot of gateway units during all of that. And I think Hydra gave up a really prime location to take a very good concave attack. And in the end has really paid for it. Verdi, wow. I'm very surprised that this has actually worked out. But there you go. That's how it goes. And even this is going on, so that's causing even more problems. Really well played there by Verdi to throw down some force fields on that ramp and make sure that this extra little bit of army couldn't get out there. But now it's 49 workers to 59. Verdi's on 3 bases behind this, warping in even more units, but the Hydralists will end up bringing down that Warp Prism. A couple of blinding clouds end up landing on this as well, but I don't think that these Hydralists are going to have too much luck against this. Even against Immortals, the Hydras actually do take a beating. They do a lot of damage to them. There was no focus fire from Hydra to try and bring down these big damaging units. 19 kills, 14 kills. GG. Verdi ties up the series. And I genuinely wasn't expecting him to tie up the series, considering the position that those 2 were in at that point in time. But, you know, I was proved wrong, and I can admit when I'm wrong. And that's totally fine. So that is our first 2 games over and done with, tying up the series again. And this has really been the story of Hydra throughout this qualifier, throughout this entire cup, which has been, we've seen 2-1s, 2-1s, 2-1s all the way, and it's not going to be a clean sweep for him here either. I was expecting, after that first game, for a clean sweep to come out, but, you know, Verdi made me eat my words. So we're just going to wait now for game number 3 to come along in a second, as Verdi's like low-tech play that we're seeing here is actually able to win him out the second game. Very cool stuff to see him able to win that game. All right. So we're just waiting now to get back into our series here, guys. Big thank you for tuning in to ESL TV. As I'm... How long has it been since I've done a solo cast? I think it's not too long. I think it's probably like 2 or 3 months or so. It's a lot of fun though. It just takes a lot of work. Wow, Hydra actually made 99 drones during that game. So a lot of drones to keep himself going. And we don't have game number 3 just yet, sadly. Where is Verdi? Nope, haven't gone into a game 3 just yet. Neither player really doing too much. So just waiting around. Let's see how Twitch chat is doing. Hopefully you guys are okay. Not much going on. Not much going on. You guys are having nice chats. So that's actually very mannered chat. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. But yeah, I'm actually watching. We have a delay on the stream, so I can't really talk to you. I'd love to be able to talk to you guys, but delay on stream makes that kind of hard. Do we have an invite yet is the big question. We do. Okay, great. Don't know why it takes them so long to get into the next games, but good luck, go. And just try and get them into the games as quickly as possible. Catalina is going to be our 3rd map here. Again, best of 5. So after this game, don't think it's over. We still have at least 1 more game after this one. So once the players are good to go, then we shall be 2. We're just waiting for extra casters to get in. So they are joining in just a second. Okay, so... Are we going yet? Yay! Okay, go. Game number 3, countdown has begun. Catalina, our map. I just like to personally get into the games as quickly as possible, so I actually have something to talk about to you guys. Because outside of the game, I'm not very interesting. I don't do much other than play video games, guys. Sorry about that. I suppose that's kind of a good quality for a caster, but whatever. Okay, so getting loaded up. I still think Hydra could have taken that game. I think if the engagement position had been a bit different, then he could have taken the game. But regardless, it's 1-1. Let's jump into Catalina for our game number 3 of this final in the Go4SC2 monthly final. As we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is Rail, aka Verdi. And over on the left-hand side of this map, it's our blue Zerg. It is Hydra. This is the map where Hydra took liberties against Mr. Showtime, who was left in the dark, went for an early Roach War and faked out a 3rd base, and then from there was able to crush forwards for the win. Hydra is probably anticipating another gateway opener again, so if Hydra were to go for a triple hatch before pool on this map, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that would be a great opener for him on this map. We even saw it blindly from a lot of Koreans in the past, just because it is a 3 spawning map. And they were trying to basically call people's bluff and trying to go for stuff like that. But in the end, he may not. He may think that these crazy Europeans are capable of anything, and he may change it up. But from what Hydra's seen so far in this series, triple hatch before pull, I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it at all. So for now, there's the gateway on the way for Verdi behind his mineral line. First gas being taken. And if he's to stick to tradition of the past 2 games, we'll see another gas go down in just a bit as well. So you can get a lot of gas coming in. Noticeably, though, sending out his probe and putting the pylon down on the high ground, actually, compared to the low ground. So we have hatchery on the way there as the first one. Do we go for a 2nd hatchery, Hydra? No. Yawn. Oh well. So it was a fun idea whilst it lasted. And I think, again, he could have gotten away with it, especially considering we're not seeing a single scout come out from Verdi here. And he did actually even spot the pylon on the high ground, signifying the idea of a gateway opener, with also seeing the cybernetics core. So spawning pool will be the weapon of choice behind that first hatchery, as is normal, but again, still think triple hatch is cool. It's of course, though, you've got to look to the counter-argument of triple hatch against a Protoss on a map like this. If he did send out a probe that you didn't spot early on and it was something like a Forge opener, then you're looking at a bad time. So you've got to weigh up the pros and cons, really. Weigh up them pros and cons. And Hydra gets in here again, sees how many guys are on gas, and even sees that one of them was pulled off of gas to go for the Nexus. So it's not some super fast adamant gas coming in. And I say that based on the fact that it's actually exactly the same way the gas was coming in that first game when I was saying he was actually going for that Stargate pretty quickly. So that I was saying that that was a lot of gas. But from the 2-2 and then transitioning over to the 3-3, it's not as quick as I was maybe mentioning in game number 1. But it certainly is still a lot of gas. And we can see sentries come out to be able to defend quite nicely, which is on the way, as well as the opportunity for a Stargate to eventually come along as well after these 3 gateways have gone down. Notice, though, he's really trying to keep tabs on the perimeters of his bases and will take that 3rd after seeing what's going on. Ooh, these lings! Ooh! Sentry! Don't be so careless. But he doesn't die. He only gets a little bit of scratches on his shield, which will recharge. And even this ling just going to scout absolutely everywhere. I think we'll probably just see Stargate in base, though, if he's actually even going to go for that. But with the 3-gate opener, there is the potential off the back of these gases to just keep warping in sentries and then eventually establish himself an earlier 3rd base. Can be a little bit difficult on this map. He would like a Forge with that. So if we see a Forge go down after this Overlord dies, then that's pretty much selling the idea of my suspicions. It remains to be seen just yet, though, as it's more and more sentries. Double gas going to be taken on the natural. So if Hydra is able to see that, yes he is, then he may feel a little bit more relaxed about the idea of any kind of earlier gateway aggression coming along. There's the Forge on the way. So for me, it's looking like 3rd base town here for Mr. Verdi. Extra lings being added on, actually quite a lot of lings. I think Verdi's reading, Hydra's reading into this really, really well. I don't think he saw the Forge. No, he did not see the Forge. But all of these lings are going to flood straight forwards towards the 3rd base once any kind of idea of it plants down. How many sentries has he seen? 1 sentry, he doesn't really see much more. But there's so many lings. Ooh. That Twilight Council is a little bit earlier than I was expecting it. As the lings are going to position themselves just for when this army moves out. Because once they do, and the Robo as well. Huh. Okay. Well. How many workers are we on right now? 46 against 37. Really not that many for the Zerg. And okay, the Mothership Core doesn't quite have the range to see that. Used to, but doesn't now. As the Lings just reposition themselves there for a second. And he's got to be so careful about this. Look where the Lings are. Uh-oh, those sentries. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Ah! I think they... Yeah, he sees some Lings. He sees some Lings. And he's got to be careful because he's going to get sandwiched here. This could cause a lot of problems. Force field's going to have to be really, really good. And they do actually catch off a lot of that, but the Lings as well on that Stalker, going to kill that off. Photon Cannon was added on, so that's quite a little bit of extra defense. Good force fields overall there, though, by Verdi to make sure that that was kept alive. And it is Blink +1 Warp Prism Zealots on the way. He didn't add any gateways on behind this, though. So it was all looking like he wanted to go for a 3rd base. I think he's faking the idea of aggression now. And then he's going to go for a 3rd base whilst all that's going on. Yeah, there's the probe. Or at least even not faking the idea of aggression, but just using these extra tools to move on later on in the game. But anyway, the Lings really didn't do what they needed to is the big story here. And he does see this expansion going down with that Overseer. Extra gas being taken in here by Hydra across these 3 bases. And he wasn't on that many drones before, but now he just rocketed up whilst he was putting on a lot of pressure with these Lings. So he's at 70 workers right now. The Infestation Pit is already on the way. And the Warp Prism gets absolutely torn out of the skies. That's not really what he wanted to be doing with that at all. He wanted to really keep the Zerg on his toes with that Warp Prism. And now getting another Warp Prism isn't exactly the most ideal of situations. You really want to be getting extra units out. There's one in production now, but that could have been another Immortal to complement his army. He's moving forwards towards this third base and kind of solidifying that position. And having 2 Immortals in an army when you've got like the potential of the Robo Bay there as well to have good Colossus numbers there too. It adds extra backbone to the army if you've got a Mortal or 2 in there, especially when your opponent is playing a style which is very mid-game orientated as a Zerg with the Roach Hydra play. Look at this diamond of Hydras dancing away. They're not going to move out just yet. They can't really without their Roach friends. So I don't know if a Roach Hydra mid-game push is really going to work out here for Hydra, based on the fact that he sent those lings that he sent towards that third base to try and deny it really didn't get much done. I mean, resources lost. This is all the lings gone down against that. He got like, what, a Stalker and something else. Maybe another Stalker. Not quite sure. But once again, not that successful. Didn't get a single worker kill during that, but not that successful. So, is he going to go for Vipers? I mean, it doesn't look like it right now. The funny thing... Oh, okay, there they are. I was thinking Spire, I guess he's going to go straight to Corruptors and try and bring down the Colossi, but with Vipers in the mix, he can just pull those forwards and make it very, very difficult. Notice, though, how Verdi added on the Templar Archives because he saw the Hive morphing in. He knew he's going to need feedbacks pretty soon to be able to deal with anything that's going to threaten his precious Colossi. And Hallucinated Phoenix is just going to dart across the map here to confirm suspicions, confirm what's going on. Sees the Spine Crawlers in the main base, so he's going to be a little bit more careful about this Warp Prism. May try and go around the right-hand side of the map to put some pressure on over at the 4th base location, for example, but Hydra's already anticipating that, which is good. Greater Spire on the way. Wow, wow, wow. All right, then. That's kind of cool, because right now, Verdi is preparing for the idea of Roach, Hydra, Viper, maybe some Corruptors, but it's going to be Corruptors eventually, and they're going to turn into something different, and then he's going to have a really hard time. He sees his 2 Vipers and knows the progression of where they are, so he could take a little bit of a fight pretty soon against this and then pull back for a second. Actually hallucinates some Colossi. Very, very good tactic here. That Overseer, though, really needs to identify which are the hallucinations. As he does see the 2 at the front that are hallucinations. Blinding Cloud's going to land a lot of that, though. Link's trying to get the wraparound. As all of this army is retreating out, he's taking a lot of damage there to the Roaches and Hydras. All for free, because he was just basically trying to get out of the Blinding Cloud. So now he's cut himself off from this location. He will get a few Roaches himself, and the Roaches are going to hold ground, trying to get some of those Zealots, but Verdi took a lot of damage as he was moving out of that location. The Vipers don't have any energy, though, so he can't really deal with the Colossi just yet. The Roaches could turn around and try and bring those down, but in the end, whoa, whoa, whoa. Lightning round engagement there for a second. Verdi somehow manages to hold on, the Colossi being the MVPs. And an interesting choice by Hydra to throw down the Blinding Clouds as opposed to try and drag them out. I think he felt that in the moment there were too many Colossi and hallucinated Colossi there for him to really try and fight through, like, which ones are the real ones? If I don't get the real ones, then it's all been in vain. So he kind of consolidated his losses and thought, well, I guess I'll just try and deal with this. But Verdi can absolutely not move out. He saw the Greater Spire morphing in. He can't really do this. Then there's going to be 9 Broodlords on the way, plus the ground army. You've got to be so careful here as Verdi when moving out like this. The Broodlords aren't that mobile, yes, but there's no Mothership Core with this army. Mothership Core is back at home, chilling out, so no opportunity for a recall. If you get pinned in here, that's it. You are done here as Verdi, so he's risking quite a bit against these Broodlords that he now sees just on the edge of this fight. And he grabs one Colossus forwards. That falls very fast, as does the second one. Those Vipers really worth their weight in gold here as he goes for this engagement. Blinks forwards, tries to get one of the Vipers, does, but another Colossus will end up falling to that grab. And the engagement is being kept on just the edge of the Broodlord's range to be able to do much. But here come the Broodlords once again. That Viper is perilously close and does get sniped down. Ah, but this is too much losses. And what can he transition onto to deal with these Broodlords? Once this army has been killed off as an Archon sadly gets trapped up against the Vespene Geyser, these Stargates are way too late. It's going to be very, very difficult to combat this. And also, it gets caught off in the middle of the map as well. That is a lot of losses there for Verdi. GG. Hydra is able to take game number 3. And now he is 1 game away from being the champion here at the Go4SC2 monthly final. And all in all, that's kind of how I was expecting it to go. Hydra is a very, very strong player. Obviously qualifying for WCS America and Extreme Masters Type A, as we've been over previously. We've looked at a lot of his games today, which have not been as strong as I was expecting. He has dropped maps, but now we're getting into game number 4. And Expedition Lost will be our map. So Hydra looking good so far. Really liked the transition over to Broodlords, and I think that they're with Verdi across his 3 bases. I don't think he necessarily needed to move out super aggressively against that. He did spot the Great Aspire, so maybe the Stargates could have come in a little bit earlier. It's hard to say. It's difficult to say, because if he hadn't have moved out, obviously that 5th base for Hydra would have been eventually up and running. So it would have been difficult. Anyway, regardless, Expedition Lost is going to be our map. We have potentially 1 more map or 2 good to go here if Verdi is able to tie the series up 2-2. But Expedition Lost is an interesting map. There's those back rocks at your main base that you've got to be a little bit careful about. Obviously, you can keep tabs on them with just an Overlord or a Pylon. And then once they have been broken down, it's very difficult to push up there as long as you've been given... your opponent has been given ample time to really react to it, which generally an Observer would be nice over in that direction to spot if something was coming along for a Protoss. Likewise, having Overlords in that direction or even just a Ling or 2 can keep tabs on that. So, without further ado, let's get into game number 4 in this grand final, as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our red Protoss, it's Verdi. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, 1 game away from being our champion of Go4SC2 month December, it is Hydra, representing Team Root. Okay. So, again, we went over this map just before in one of the previous series, but again, if you can see over here, these rocks right on top of a ramp. So you do have to be a little bit cautious about that. I don't think in a competitive game, in a competitive map, we've ever seen rocks on a ramp quite like this, because it is a very small ramp. I can't recall. Tweet me if you can recall one. But anyway. And then obviously you have your natural here with a nice little ramp to be able to deal with. 3rd bases, as we were saying before when we previously reviewed this map, very, very far out. Very far out indeed. Verdi's actually changing things up. He's actually going for a Forge and may end up looking for a Cannon Rush here. Yeah, I mean, look at the direction his probe is taking. It's trying to evade Overlords through the middle of the map, so this is interesting. Wasn't really expecting this, and Hydra is actually going to go for a hatchery first after checking for proxy. This Overlord is important, very important, because right now he's going to see that probe coming in, and he positions it right on top of the ramp, so he sees this probe. All right, he actually has to do something about this. In plain sight of that, he actually... Uh-oh. Ugh. Okay. There has to be another probe coming out, though, right? Yeah, okay. That's annoying, but he reacted pretty fast. So if we can kill both pylons... Can you get another pylon in there? I don't know if he's going to kill both. He had to bring extra drones down because he knows he has to kind of kill both. But this extra probe could just throw down another pylon, yeah. He's going to try and throw down another pylon in range of it. Because the thing is that I don't think that cannon finishes up before these 2 pylons die, so he needs another pylon. Well, this was kind of sad. All right. I don't know how the grid is in there, But the way the two pylons sorted themselves out, I wonder if you can fit a pylon and a cannon there, because if you fit the cannon there in the middle, I'll have to experiment with that later on. But yeah, that didn't work. I don't know if you noticed, guys, but that didn't work. So he's going to have to fall back to the idea of a Nexus as well as cannon to keep himself safe. And yeah, so he's even keeping an eye on the ice back here as well. So good reaction times there by Hydra, realizing that ain't no cheese going to get me, bro. And the game will go on. So two lings coming out here for Hydra, probably to try and scout out anything on his side of the map, making sure that those probes have gone home. He may have seen them with the Overlord actually heading home from inside, so that could give him peace of mind. But he may just check things anyway, or even start working on these back rocks, which would be kind of annoying for Verdi. Just has to take extra precautions. But there's not really too much now stopping Hydra just going drones, 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 drones. Unless, of course, Verdi really wanted to go down the route of like a very, very fast 4-gate, but off the back of a Forge opener, it's difficult. I mean, you've got to save up all the chrono boosts. You really have to pile it into the cybernetics core if you're going to do something like that, and it just doesn't really work out. So, and this is kind of an ugly wall in as well. Yeah, it's a little bit ugly, but what can you do? So, third base going to be on the way down to the bottom right here for Mr. Hydra. Like this one for him, especially if he actually had Zergling speed on the way, which he didn't just yet. He's only now just getting double gases at around that 6-minute mark, as is timely if he's actually playing gasless to start things off. You can defend pretty well on your side of the map with speed Zerglings. Especially if you grab this watchtower, there's not really too much room to sneak around as a Protoss on that side of the map towards your third base, which is technically your most vulnerable base over on the right-hand side. So claiming this watchtower, very important for Hydra. And this link pokes up, has a look around, sees the Forge whirring away, and didn't see anything in terms of gases. This Overlord has, though. And actually both Overlords have, so ignore my sentence about poor little Ling that died, because everything has been spotted. And it's going to be a Stargate at the back, actually. All right, then. All right. So, the Forge opener didn't work. Let's see if the Stargate's going to be able to get anything done at all. I would like it to be Phoenix over Oracle, personally. But whether he does or not will remain to be seen. And it is going to be Phoenix. I do like that. I don't think the Oracle play before really panned out too well. And I think he could get a few kills here and there but he's going to have to be down quick, because Hydra is very quick with his Hydralisk Den. Game in, game out. He could actually just go Ling Hydra here, actually, now that I'm looking at this. He could go Ling Hydra and cause a lot of problems. It's very difficult to establish that third base on this map. Generally, as a Protoss, you don't really want to be going over here too much. You can go here by breaking down the rocks, but even that's a bit weird because of how big this area is. Again, checking those third bases, doesn't really see too much over there. And we'll head on over here maybe later on. But unfortunately for him, those Lings not really going to get done too much at this natural ramp. So it's up to the Lings. Yeah, sorry, it's up to the Phoenix really here to do something. He actually morphed in. Did he morph in all of his... Oh my god. He morphed in all of his outlying Overlords into... Where are these going? What is going on? What? Did he morph? No, he didn't, because this one's here as well. What is he looking to contaminate? Everything? Well, that's interesting. I was thinking he'd morph them in so they would escape from Phoenix, but there's this one that isn't escaping Phoenix. There's this one. One Overseer's going to go in. One Overseer is going to contaminate something, and then another one's going to come in and then contaminate something, and then... Hydra, what are you up to? All right. Do we have contamination yet? No, he's a bit off. He's like 15 seconds off. Oh, the Phoenix! He found the 3 over the clutch pocket of Overseers has been found, guys. Run to the hills. Is he even going to contaminate anything? I guess not. The Overseers are back. They're back to their little location. Well, this one, he does have energy for a contaminate and is looking for something to contaminate. Oh, clutch! Ah! I don't know why I'm so tickled by this. I'm so sorry, but if he just keeps going in and contaminating that robo facility over and over and over, that's the coolest goddamn play I've seen all day. Please, it's about to run out. Overseer number 2, it's your opportunity. It's your chance. Well, we'll find out in a little second as Overseer Wars continues up to the top left. Oh, they're on the move. All right, so this Phoenix having a look around, really not doing too much. There's only 1 Phoenix left, so it's not going to do much at all. And if he can continue to contaminate these robo facilities, please. Oh, there's no Colossus for you. He got something there. I'm not sure what it was. I'm so sorry. I'm just keeping an eye on these Overseers. And he needs to, like, time it, right? Like, as soon as he does it, he should look at his clock and say, right, 30 seconds from now, I'm going to send in my next Overseer. Or even just a little bit before that, like, 25 seconds from now, I'm going to send in my next Overseer. He's doing it! Let's go! Oh, there's going to be a Colossus. Oh, that could have been so beautiful. He's going to go for the push anyway and then contaminate again. It's never going to end. And as a Protoss in this map, you just say FML, because defending both of these locations at the same time can be really, really irritating, especially when there's so many roaches on the way as well. Oh, is it your turn? Come on, number 4. Do it. I know there's a photon overcharge there, but you just got to do it. Yes. Brilliant. Good job, Overseer. Number 4, you got away as well. All right, there's an engagement. He has no anti-air. So the 1 Colossus is going to fall. The Roaches and Hydras are just going to have a field day. And this has been an interesting game. Corrupt everything. You've done as much gooping as you would like. Actually, those Archons could cause some problems. These Roaches is just going to town, though. He really wants to focus down that Immortal. Get the Immortal. The Hydras are actually cleaned up at the back. And this wasn't as brilliant an engagement as I would have expected, considering the initial opener of the 4 Overseer hit squad. There is now room for things to be built, but oh, number 2 has almost got energy again. Number 2's almost got energy. They've almost all got energy. All right, let's go. It's time to get it again. Corruptors are coming in. Oh, God. Oh, that's horrible. Okay. So Corruptors are just chilling out. And actually see that there was only an Immortal popping out there, so he doesn't even really care too much, I would suspect. Roaches and Hydralis taking this engagement again. This is surprisingly a strong force for the Protoss, gotta say. He really wants to get in there and corrupt everything. He may as well and try and bring those numbers down, and he's actually being pushed back. These cheeky little moves with these Overseers aren't really working out as brilliantly as one would suspect without the army to complement it and control in the middle. But anyway, back to the corruption. All right. Who was that? Was that? I think that was number 3. Anyway. All right, 17 Hydralisks and 6 Roaches. If you're going to keep shutting down that Robo facility, surely a maxed out Roach Hydra army is going to kill. As long as you corrupt everything as well. Because there's no Colossi to kill, and these are dead weight right now. So if you look at the army supply, 112 to 88, these Corruptors aren't really... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a given. Sorry, guys, you had to die. Meanwhile, back at Robo Facility Contaminate Central. Yep, you have to die, guys. I'm sorry. Why do you need Corruptors if you're just going to keep contaminating? That was number... Oh, okay. It's all been done. Totally sick. Okay. Army supply is now pretty even. That's a lot of Zealots. Plus 3 weapons is not done just yet, though. The Roaches need to be better positioned than this slightly. There's not that much tanking and buffering for these Hydras. 40 Hydras? All right. And actually, to be fair, they're going to do quite well. There's no way you're going to push into that concave, and now he's on creep, so now he can pursue. He doesn't even have an observer here, which is causing him a few problems. And actually those force fields are going to work against him because there's so many zealots in his composition that those Hydras could just go to town on it, and he's going to have to fight really, really hard, tooth and nail, to fight up against this army. That's so many Hydras. There's a few Queens here as well to be able to pack in a bit more of a punch. And as the Archons end up falling, so too will the rest of this army. So it contaminates MVPs. The majority of this army ends up dying off. Actually, the extra reinforcing zealots are going to help out quite a lot, but there's 22 roaches on the way. So Hydra can always remax out way quicker than we're seeing Verdi completely. Even this observer's not really getting a look in. Anyway, plenty of roaches. This is going to spell doom here for Verdi in game number 4. And he's even killing his own stalkers there with that Archon. GG! And congratulations to Hydra, who is able to take the Go4SC2 monthly final for December. And he wins himself a cool 300 euros. Very, very well played out by him. Especially at the end, that was kind of cool with the Overseers. It would have been even cooler if the engagements were neat and tidy in the middle, but they were a little bit scrappy. But in the end, his macro wins out the game. So, congratulations to Hydra. Commiseration to Verdi, but he still walks away with 150 euros, which is quite nice. And then Showtime and Targa taking 3rd and 4th place, walking away with 75 euros. So that does it for me here at ESL TV for the Go4SC2 monthly finals. Obviously, next week, the 26th, 27th, 28th onwards, we have the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, where you'll be able to see the champion of this cup, Hydra, going up against some of the world's best in an Intel Extreme Masters, where a lot of money is on the line. Join us for that. But for now, have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.